Ayan na, mag-showbiz na. Ayan na. Hindi ko na makasya si Ogie dyan, medyo na-adjust na natin, yung, basta alam niyo na mga kameta, ayan na, sabi ko, hinanap natin sa Twitter, ano kayang trending, sabi ko, siguro naman, President Marcos, siguro naman, Sarah All, sabi ko, baka siguro naman, ang nag-ano dyan, yung Top Gun, Maverick, Top Gun codename Magellan Jr. Sabi na, baka naman ito yung mga nagte-trendy. But no! Andito na naman sa ating balita itong moments of truth. In fairness hindi lang pala yung mga politiko, hindi lang mga vloggers at columnista ay nagre-real talk. Ngayon nakita natin mga kameta, but yung mga artista natin ay nagre-real talk na. At itong si Ma'am Liza Sobsrano, kasi di kami close, so hindi ko siya kilala, tawagin natin. Ma'am Liza Sobsrano now is, she's much more open and expressive about her, siguro yung all of those feelings, emotions, thoughts that were running through her mind back in the day, but now na nasa abroad na siya, I think she's trying her hand at Hollywood now that she is quite established, now that she has her own, own thing going on, diba? It seems na mas open siya, mas komportable siya to express her true feelings. And of course, let's not forget guys, if I'm not mistaken, millennial, ano ba siya? Gen Z ba siya? I mean, almost Gen Z, diba? So I think being there in the United States in the era of woke culture, in the era of Black Lives Matter, in an era of intersectionality, of feminist rights, etc., perhaps that kind of environment has also encouraged si Liza to be much more open about her feelings and thoughts retrospectively. I don't think things she's saying right now is it pop out of nowhere. I don't think out of the blue yan. I think these were the things that were percolating there, that were marinating there for quite some time, but now she has the confidence to do it. To be honest, mga kameta, hindi ako nanonood ng mga, alam mo na, yung mga local na pelikula, yung mga ganyan. Medyo matanda na tayo for those things. Not like when we were younger, we were watching those things really. No, but the thing is, uh, no, the thing is, I think some, revolution in consciousness is happening right now. Also, we're seeing more and more intergenerational dialogue and sometimes contestations in ways that we have not seen. And to be honest, alam mo yung commercial ng Maya? Pasensya na lang dun sa mga Gcash dyan, ha? Mamaya na tayo mag-post ng Gcash natin para sa crowdfunding, mga kameta. Pero nakita ko yung Maya commercial. Nagkataon lang na hindi ko ma-forward or something dyan sa internet, sa TV. Ito si Lizang nagpo-play, ha? Ito yung sa Maya commercial and all. And like, in fairness, I know it was a commercial advertisement, but really for the first time, I got to see how versatile, how articulate, and how self-confident and self-assured Liza is. Na, panoorin niyo guys yung Maya na hindi ko ginagawa yan kasi mag-work ako sa hindi, basta check niyo yung Maya na yan because you could really see, like for a moment, wag niyo skip yung commercial, just watch it. Maayos! Like yung sense of humor, very articulate, very, very eloquent, tapos, the way she shifts between different characters, and then she's ironic about it, she's making fun of it. I quite appreciated that. Parang, in fairness naman. Although, of course, Englishero siya dyan, so yung mga konyong katulad natin, nakaka-relate na. No, but in fairness, like, that's the thing. I think, unfortunately for a lot of us, we tend not to pay as much attention to local film industry, etc. Because we're saying, seriously, mga ganun. Iba dyan, nagka-K-pop na lang, or yung mga katulad natin, yung mga nanonood ng Cannes Film Festival, Berlin, Film Festival, or nanonood ng mga political historical movies, yung mga Made in Marites, or Made in Malacanang, or yung mga ganun types. Although, honestly mga kameta, hindi ko na pinanood yung isa, yung Made in Marites 2. Parang, papunta na ako, tapos, ilalabas mo ng 385, parang, wag na lang, i-dinner ko na lang yan. Tapos, wag na rin i-dinner, na lang kami, nag-gym na lang ako. Nilabas na lang natin sa gym yung natin dyan, yung mga adhikain natin dyan. And then, panoorin ko yan kung hindi pa na-pull out. Kasi parang nilalangaw na rin nung last week eh. But hopefully, if it's still around, I'll try to give it a chance, no? I'll try to watch to see ano ba meron talaga dyan. Because, sabi ni parang Xiao Chua, it's worth looking at dahil daw, yung mga scenes kay Nino are very, very compelling. Especially scenes that were played by Isko. Mukhang yung mga scenes na yan, have kind of quite a compelling element to that. So yun po yung sinasabi ni parang Xiao Chua. So, let me check. Let me check accordingly and see kung talagang maganda ba talaga, or at least I want to understand the propaganda, political messaging, etc. Okay, napansin niyo, medyo I'm going off the trail. Now, going back to this, hindi, yun nga, I'll be honest, siguro in the past, I didn't give as much attention to the artistic skills ng mga sikat na celebrities in the Philippines. Because let's be honest, mga kamet, I'll be very honest about this. Now, I hope I don't get into trouble. But let's be honest, we have among the best looking, actors and actresses in the world, if it's just aesthetic, no? May pagka-fuego din. At the same time, there's a part of me that, always had this appreciation for yung mga cinema, world cinema cultures, kung saan hindi mukhang priority yung good looks, di ba? So parang, even in Hollywood, right? You see a lot of very, very celebrated actors and actresses who are not necessarily best looking people, but they're extremely celebrated and extremely well paid. No, way more paid than, let's say, yung mga very good looking actresses and actors. In Europe, in the Middle East, you see a lot of that. Like superstar actors who are not necessarily the best looking one, whether it's in the French cinema, whether it's in Turkish cinema, Iranian cinema, whatever. You can see in a lot of the cinemas, there are a lot of people who are considered as among the top actors and all, but they're not necessarily there, not for the aesthetics and all. Ang nakita kong similarities between Philippines and Bollywood, no? Because clearly sa India, sa Bollywood, there's also a lot of emphasis on really having certain kind of features, no? Hindi na tayo mag-breakdown na. So honestly, there was a part of me saying that siguro when it comes to the Philippines, malaking prioritization dun sa aesthetic value, no? Less face value, I don't know what you want to call it. So perhaps that kind of prevented us from fully appreciating the artistic skills. Now, ibang usapan mga kameta yung mga indie movies ng Pilipinas. The reason why medyo mataas ang respect natin kay yung actor ni ang probinsyano? Basta yung guy na yan, di ba? Di ba nag-play siya ng Chop Chop pa yan? Yung movie ni Mendoza dati, yung mga pinapa-Cannes Film Festival, etc. Yun. Dun mo pala makikita, magaling na actor talaga ito. And I think I'm kind of proud of him because he made it from indie movie, really high-level, high-quality acting into mainstream media. And yung Ang Probinsyano, of course, is like the gold standard, for serialized movies pagdating sa Pilipinas, at least over the past 5 or 10 years or so, no? So we have those cases where you have really good actors. Yes, may face value din, but primarily very good actors who made it to Coco Martin. Yeah, si Coco Martin. Yeah. So si Kuyang Coco Martin, in fairness sa kanya, believe tayo sa kanya because when hindi pa siya ganun kasikat, yung mga movies niya, yung mga movie kay Mendoza ganun, nakita na galing talaga, mahusay talaga siya. Noon pa lang naisip ko, uy, sana ma-discover na to sa mainstream media rin, no? But so I'm glad that he made the transition and quite successful, and I hope he sets the standard for that. But let's be very honest, in the Philippines, mataas yung value ng face value. Let's just be brutally honest about it, no? Because I'm absolutely sure there's so many super good actors and actresses there who are not getting as much attention or as much investment, as much, what I'm saying, as good roles, because they may not necessarily fit the certain expectation of how a lead actor or lead actress is supposed to look like, no? Yung mga ganyang bagay, no? Although nakita ko, in fairness naman, like conceptions of what is a lead actor and lead actress is also shifting. So, siguro mga dating panon, more tisoy, di ba? Dahil sikat na sikat sa ating mga telenovela, Mexicano, Argentina, Betty La Fea, I don't know, mga ganun. Ngayon, mas sikat kasi yung mga K-pop, K-wave, K-cinema. So, siguro mga emphasis ngayon is more like on chinito looking, I don't know if that's proper, or like, let's say, Asian aesthetic look, no? So, anyway, so that's the general background of where I'm coming in. So ito mga kamay, see, even yung showbiz natin may sociological, political analysis, no? I don't approach anything just out of nowhere. We approach things from a certain big picture angle. No, going back to this, so in fairness, nung nakita ko yung commercial doon sa Maya, like, wow, she's actually good. She's quite good, diba? And one thing I appreciated also is, Liza is now not only talking about her personal relationship with a number of folks, including her former manager, etc. There are people now. wala akong comment dyan because wala akong kinalaman. Nakausap, I mean, kilala mo na natin si Tito Boy, si Ogie Diaz rin, etc. I mean, siguro if, I'm not gonna make a judgment about dun sa, whatever contradictory statements that are coming out because I don't know both sides. Maybe if I know both sides quite well and I hear their stories on a personal level, off the record or whatever, then perhaps I have a better understanding. So I'm not gonna get into that. No, hindi tayo mga ganyan. Hindi tayo magmarites ng ganun. One thing I want to say though is I said, first of all, I think we're seeing cultural and generational shift here. So clearly, Lisa being there in hindi Lisa kasi pag Lisa hindi ko Lisa Araneta Liza Sobral, no. I think her being in the US in this identity politics era perhaps gave her the confidence, the vocabulary to be much more open and honest about how she feels about things. And now, of course, she's an institution on her own. But there's something interesting that she raised in her interview with Bea Alonzo kahapon. Uy, feeling talagang kunyari na ng mga vlogs nila. Nakikita ko lang yan sa news. No, but eto, I like what she said there because I think it has a relevance for the Philippine cinema, which brings me shortly, guys, papunta tayo sa Korean cinema. We're gonna talk about that, no? Because I've been making this point for quite some time, how to improve the Philippine cinema, no? Again, I'm doing this not because I'm an insider in Philippine showbiz industry, but I'm sorry, I watch the best movies out there. Yung mga nanalo ng Cannes Festival, yung mga nanalo, Palme d'Or, yung mga nanalo ng, alam niya, mga Silver Lion, mga ganon. So, I'm sorry, my standard ako, di ba? Aside from reading books and all, we also watch the best movies out there. Talagang intensively, no? Hindi naman siguro mga Polanski na dahil na-cancel na si Polanski, but mamaya na yan. But mga Taste of Cherry, yung mga, alam mo yan, mga really good movies. We try our best to watch those movies, no? Now, going back to this, let's just bring out the things sinabi ni Liza. Because I think it's relevant to what I've been saying for quite some time and a discussion I've been having for quite some time. Nasaan na? Ito. So, ito yung kinuha natin sa ating mga ka-inquirer. So, ito po yung interview niya. Vlog ba ni Bea Alonzo yan? Okay, I mean, vlogger na lahat ng artista ngayon, di ba? So, ito. So, ayon dito sa news by Philippine Daily Inquirer, kung saan, of course, columnista tayo, kaya I trust what they say. Ito po yung quote niya na, Bakit box? To box a woman like that is so dangerous, actually. Okay, so the context pala is, parang sinasabi ni Liza is, she was not only constrained by, but she was like squeezed into this love team role and she was kind of like probably stuck there and she was not able to fully express herself. So I think sinabi niya, everything that I try to do now as a solo artist, so the emphasis is solo artist, isn't being taken seriously or like isn't being respected and it's seen as something negative. They think I'm some kind of a wild child now just because I'm not in a love team or I'm not seen around the same man constantly. Of course, si Hill ba to? Sino ba yan? Hindi, si James yung niya, di ba? Yung director niya. Or whatever. Sorry, I'm not they're not part of my expertise. When that isn't actually normal, to be honest. So ang argument here is, love team is a phenomenon only created in the Philippines. Now, I'm not sure about that. I think we have that in other, I don't know, telenovela, Bollywood cultures. But, so para sa kanya, only in the Philippines ito, only exists in the Philippines. And to box a woman like that is so dangerous actually for their mental health and also for their growth. Okay, now, siguro on the mental health, I have to read more about what is the angle she's looking at. But obviously, I think the idea there is that by overemphasizing love team, kasi the thing with the love team is that bentang-benta ito. May market kasi ito eh. 'Di ba? Yung mga, alam niya, yung kabila rin, meron mga ganyan-ganyan. Alden ba yan? Yung mga ganon. Oh. Ano yung Aldab? Ayan, yung mga ganon. 'Di ba? I mean, clearly there's a market for those things. But the thing is that it's ayon kay Liza, at least in her case, it's something that does not allow the actresses to fully express themselves and to fully unleash their artistic talents, no? And so for her, it constrains. Or worse than that, she's saying it could even affect your mental health. So that's, I think, a serious issue she's raising, which brings me to a more fundamental point, mga kameta, because my fundamental point is this. Isang malaking dahilan na Philippine cinema is not doing as well as it used to is precisely because of how limited are the horizons of imagination when it comes to a lot of mainstream production out there. No offense to our friends there. So if you look at it, the plots are really predictable compared to what you're getting elsewhere. The plot twists are not as much there. Misa ang gulo, ang dami mga actors and actresses. The plot is a little bit all over the place. It's not well disciplined. And yun nga eh. And there's like template eh. Parang it's like variations on a theme. Now compare that mga kameta sa, okay, I'll say something closer to home. Let's not go to French cinema or I don't know, Turkish cinema or Iranian cinema. Let's just go to our, I mean, like Korean cinema, right? Now, some of the Korean stuff are, yeah, they're pretty template typical na rin. Especially kung medyo, medyo dalibhasa ba yung term? Okay, medyo ano ka na sa Korean cinema. Pero ako, based on my understanding, like, for instance, if you look at some of the best stuff that came out of Korea right now, like for instance yung Parasite, like it's brilliant. I mean, it's just so brilliant. It's super full of curveballs and plot twists. In fact, until the last part, you're not exactly sure what's going on there. That's why I was so transfixed and I was so impressed by that movie that I had to do background check, and it made sense to me that what actually the director was trying to do was he was kind of going along the Dostoevsky plot in the book Demons. No, it's a fascinating book. You have to guys to read it. But essentially, it starts with comedy, then it goes to horror, and then it becomes tragedy. Right. So if you look at the movie Parasite, it starts as comedy. The first part is lighthearted, making fun, making jokes, but slowly and slowly, it gives you a hint of there's something not right here. No, especially in terms of you see social tensions, you see cynicism, and then suddenly it becomes a horror story, right? It becomes a horror story, and then it culminates in as horrific as it can get. And then towards the end, it's tragic. It's suddenly sad. It makes you think. It makes you reflect. So that movie was wow, diba? Like wow, talaga, and it became the first what Asian movie, if not foreign movie, to win the best director? Or is it the first foreign director to win that? Because we know the French won the best actor like 10 years ago or so, di ba? Dun sa Oscars. But, so, ganon. Or even, okay, the Squid Game kasi, I have a little bit concern with that because there are accusations that drew a little bit on the Japanese counterpart, the less known Japanese counterpart. So, I think the jury's still out on that. But in fairness naman, even the Squid Game, if you don't know about the background or accusations of plagiarism from the Japanese counterpart, etc. Kasi tayo napanood natin yung yung Alice in the Borderland, di ba? I mean, it's fascinating. I love Japanese stuff. I love Japanese, culture, movies, etc. Ano to batang PlayStation tayo, di ba? Hindi naman Gundam, medyo matanda na yun, pero batang PlayStation tayo. Now, going back to this mga kameta, like in the Squid Game, it's really hard to see where this is going, right? Kaya, and it constantly my cliffhanger. And then hindi siya overpopulated with too many, you know what I'm saying, di ba? So it allows the audience to fully focus on the key actors. And it allows the plot to fully express itself. So now I'm talking as a writer. Because, when I saw the movie Gatsby, I was comparing it to the book. So there are many cases whereby I watch the movie and then compare it to the book that I read, or sometimes I do it the other way, because the plot part is the writer's part, right? And then the visualization comes from the director, production team, etc. But the writing part is very important. So allowing the plot to be fully expressed, and allowing the plot to bring out the best out of the actors, and allowing the plot to really capture that attention of the audience and draw them in, that's brilliance. And it's not only brilliance, it's money. And this is where we go to Korea, mga kameta. Because if you look at the success of Korea, now I'm not, by the way, let me be very clear, I don't believe Korea is the best cinema in the world. Not at all, right? It's one of the top cinemas in the world, for sure. But commercially, they're probably second or third best in the world, right? Along with the Hollywood and Bollywood, right? And obviously, China is also there in the wings. In terms of export industry, I think they're the second best, right after the United States. And if you look at in the case of Korea, on one hand, of course, mga kameta, yes, there's an element of government support. And we see that this government support has been there for quite some time. Minister of Culture, there are multiple ministries involved in that. There's coordination, Minister of Finance, Ministry for Exports, etc. But you also see that during the pandemic, for instance, there was constant support by the government of Korea, uh, no, to make sure na the Korean cinema will not be negatively affected because of the effects of COVID-19 pandemic. No, people not being able to go to cinema, and especially support for smaller companies, because a lot of creative stuff, mga kameta, usually comes from the smaller companies, like the startup version of the film industry, no? So this is something really fascinating. So clearly, mga kameta, naniniwala tayo na when it comes to the movie industry, it's extremely important, mga kameta, to have, it's extremely important, mga kameta, to have government support, no? In fact, si Pepe Jok, no, who has, I think, a new movie on Gomborza, has a very interesting TED Talk that I really suggest you guys check. For instance, he looks at how high taxation rate in the Philippines, and not only lack of support, but lack of tax breaks and a high taxation rate has really made it difficult for even the good directors to sustain momentum. Because you say, you make one good movie, and then you raise enough funds, but because the tax is so high, you have to raise so much fund. So usually yung follow-up movie either might compromise, or if the follow-up movie is not doing well, then wala na, that's it. So even though if you did one brilliant movie, you made one mistake, mahirapan ka na mag-raise fund. I think like the ratio is like 3-1. Like your production cost should be 1/3 of what you earn for a movie, so that you have enough for the next movie or something like that. So that's what I'm saying, mga kameta. This is a situation. There's a fiscal taxation aspect to it, but yes, there should be also a creative aspect to it. There should be an aspect of also making the plots more interesting. So this is where I understand where Liza is coming from, because parang very limited yung coordinates of imagination when it comes to a lot of mainstream stuff coming out there. And the thing is, okay, I understand the commercial imperative. You want to make sure something that sells, but maybe we want to also, like, what I'm saying, diba? We want to make sure medyo yung taste and standards natin medyo diba? It's just because the media has an important role in public education. And we want to make sure that we produce entertainment materials that really make the audience think, even existential questions. That's really what great movies do, right? They don't only distract you or give you a sense of relief. They make you reflect on existential questions. No, and so yun nga eh. So I see the point with the entertainment industry being the way it is. I understand it. So I have nothing against people there in the industry. I understand what they're doing. There is a KPI there that they have to fulfill, but at the same time, sana naman, di ba, we push the boundaries, because ang mangyayari dyan, hanggang ano na lang tayo, di ba? If you want to make a globally competitive cinema that can export to all around the world, because panahon nila Judy Ann Santos, di ba, nag-export pa tayo sa Africa, mga ganun, sa Indonesia, ganun. But now totally kinain tayo ng Korean, mga ganun, di ba? So if you want to make a globally competitive industry, and we can earn millions, if not billions of dollars in exports, which is what Korea is doing, we have to really up the game. We have to up the game. And perhaps, tama si Liza, we have to go beyond just, love team, or behind all of these templates, all of this kind of regurgitated, humor. Alam niyo na yan, di ba? I'm filling the gap na lang. We want something better. We want something new, something fresh, something exciting. And sana naman, pansin nyo, sa mga Korean movies, yes, they're supposedly good-looking people out there, but there are also many actors, Korean actors, who are not necessarily the best-looking people. They're really great actors, and they're like, mga ganyan. Tapos, yung mga ganyan, you know what I'm saying? They get it. So anyway, panoorin yung interview ni Liza rin also with Tito Boy Abunda, hindi Tito Boy Soto. Pero hindi na ako mag-comment dun sa mga nila with Ogie D at saka si Tito Boy, because I am not privy to their points of view. It will be unfair for me to jump in. But I think in general, Liza is raising some interesting questions. And that's the thing, eh. Because Liza is now an institution on her own terms, she's already established, she's trying already her hand in Hollywood, etc. I think she feels more confident to express this. And I won't be surprised, at least some of the sentiments she's expressing, it's not just a Liza sentiment. I think it's a sentiment that is shared by a lot of people. It's just that unfortunately others don't have the, to express it, for different understandable reason and not so understandable reasons. So at least there's someone coming out there, kind of a Gen Z, younger millennial, who's coming out there and saying this, and I hope to see more of this. Again, not because I'm taking her side against anyone else, because I believe there should be some major shakeup in the Philippine cinema and entertainment industry, because it's not world standard. It's not even regionally competitive. Even yung Thailand na nga napag-iwanan ng tayo, di ba? Like, what was Thailand the world entertainment industry 10, 15 years ago. No offense, I mean, they have some fantastic movies, no? May mga horror movies pa yun, they're really good. I mean, no question about it. But, like, even in Southeast Asia, napag-iwanan na tayo, no? So, forget about Korea. Forget about, I don't know, Cannes or whatever. We really have to do something about it, mga kameta. And look at it. If you look at France, for instance, France or Germany, a lot of these countries, they also have very interesting pop stuff, like on Netflix, si Lupin, diba? That's a kind of a French-American thing. It's not like they're just in the high art, high end, high culture. No, they also do the pop stuff. But the thing, you have to have both there. And the best one so far that we can draw inspiration from is Korea. Korea is a country of what, 50 million people. Very few people, barely a third of Philippine population. Look at what a major force globally they are. But they were not there 20, 30 years ago. In fact, if you know about Korean cinema, their golden age of cinema was actually in the 60s in terms of super artistic and all. But pagdating dun sa really globally appealing movies, this is really the past 10, 15 years. And that's because they already have been able to build a robust, really industrial complex, that's churning out fantastic movies, fantastic plots, etc. Although, to be honest, nakakaumay na pag nakita mo naman sa Netflix, puro mga taga... You know what I'm saying? Like, mix it up a little bit, no? Kaya nga, I like watching mga European, Japanese, whatever, right? Okay. Maraming salamat, mga kameta. I know this was not what you were expecting in terms of discussion, but, once in a while, you have to mix it up, discuss other things. As I said, it looked like Marites, but definitely not Marites. What I'm doing here is really doing a sociological and political analysis, and I believe there's so much more that the Philippines can achieve if we get some basic things right. Alright? So thank you very much again. Magpasalamat tayo dito sa mga mga kameta natin. Oops, nasabay pala dun sa isa. Yan. Salamat kay Eden Olonan, as always. Super thank you sa lahat ng mga support sa atin. Ayan. Chika Minute, sabi ni Angelo. Hindi naman chika-chika. Ano naman? Si Claire daw. Beauty and Brains daw si Liza. Ayan. Si Pia naman Vargas, tuwan-tuwa siya. Ayan. Shedding some light regarding Lisa. Yeah, again, I'm approaching this quite seriously. You see, this is respect. No, I'm showing respect for the individual, and I'm also showing respect for Tito Boy and other people who are, also getting into the debate. So I'm not taking sides here, but I'm telling you guys how much I care. I care so much about our country that I'm doing this Chica talk now. Diba? That's how much I care about our country. That's much how I love our country. All right. Otherwise, diba? Ba't ako alam na, diba? All right. Thank you very much, guys. Talk to you soon. Later evening, God willing. Okay, so mga 9 p.m. or so, interview naman natin si Joseph Scalis or Scalici. We're gonna talk about history. We're talking about Philippine left. We're talking about Marcos Duterte. Isa po siyang Americano with Italian, descent, but he speaks very good Tagalog, better than me. So siguro mamaya medyo mas Tagalog yung mag-interview namin. All right? Abangan yan. Thank you very much and talk to you guys soon. By the way, matagal ko na kaibigan si Joseph, no? And I'm glad that Christian Esguerra and some of the other good journalist friends already interviewed him. So I said, ay, dapat lang talaga kasi kaibigan kayo, matagal na, di ba? Alright. Talk to you guys soon. God bless.